Senator Shabna, I don't think you can understand why we're here unless you watch the videos that we saw of the Senate Health Commission or the Public Health Commission. So I would just ask you to consider watching those, and you might understand why we're sitting here today. Okay, so every Wednesday I release a podcast episode, and today's has a direct connection as to why I'm asking you to vote no on SB4. I will be sending each of you a link. I don't sell anything. I'm not looking to gain a following. I would simply like you to hear firsthand information from those who faced unbelievable suffering due to our CDC, FDA, and NIH. So how does this tie in with SB4? It has to do with the issues of trust and autonomy. SB4 lays the infrastructure for Governor Holcomb's Public Health Commission to implement the guidelines of the NIH, the CDC, and the FDA, especially as Judy Monroe is president and CEO of the CDC Foundation. In regards to autonomy, if you have heard the recording of the Governor's Health Commission meeting, which you have to listen to, they lay out their plan to basically coerce county health public departments to accept their agenda with the goal to eliminate any autonomy. It's in the meeting. In regard to trust, it's clear to anyone who listened to that Commissioner's July meeting, their contempt for county health departments and Indiana residents wishing to maintain autonomy. One could definitely perceive a certain intellectual elitism in their comments. The Commission will undoubtedly be working to implement the CDC guidelines, especially as I've said that. And this leads me to today's podcast entitled, Why the CDC, FDA, and NIH Cannot Be Trusted. Please believe me, if you listen to the podcast, you will know that something has gone horrifically wrong within our federal agencies. In the podcast, I cover two items. Last week's VRBAC meeting, where after listening to the horrific testimonies of those who've been vaccine injured, the panel unbelievably approved the new vaccine. Next, you will hear testimony from my friend, Bree Dressen. Bree is the co-founder of React 19, which is the largest nonprofit organization in the world that exists to help the immense multitudes of COVID vaccine injured. Bree enrolled in the COVID vaccine trials. There, she developed devastating injuries that will now be with her for the rest of her life. Bree has worked directly with the heads of the CDC, the FDA, and the NIH. You will hear Bree's comments on the literal lock on the media, which explains why most of you may not be aware of the immense amount of devastation that is occurring. I can put any of you in touch with her, and she can provide you with information and documentation that you need to confirm any of this devastation. Our government has known about this since early 2021 of the tens of thousands of vaccine injured. The NIH has had secret trials with Bree in them using secret protocols that the public knows nothing about. You will also hear about 700 plus different safety signals that these organizations know about and have not disclosed to the public. Their actions have had devastating effects on the injured, some even leading to suicide and death. Finally, you'll hear what happened to Robert Edmond, PhD scientist who was vaccine injured. He collected data on his injury to present to CDC Deputy Director Tom Shimbakuro, to which Tom told his employee, thank him for his email and cut him off. This is the same man who at last week's meeting was telling the public that he takes very seriously any reports of vaccine injuries. These are the agencies that the Indiana Public Health Commission will want us to be taking recommendations from, and and if the commission gains control of all county health departments by using SB4 to gain that control, we will be locked in with no way out. In early 2021, predicting where we would be headed, I wrote a post with the premise that building trust with the public is always a greater good. Senators, please take note that what Hoosiers need more than anything else right now are lawmakers that they can trust to do the right thing. And that would start by listening to my podcast and watching the videos that everybody keeps talking about. You have to be informed. It is your job to know what's going on. Trust to do the right thing. And that right thing is for you to diligently protect our rights of autonomy so that none of us or our health departments are ever subjected to recommendations that come with coercion or do this or else. The last 3 years have been an absolute hell for many Hoosiers due to the government agencies imposing the recommendations with brute force. Based on the coercive intent we saw in that July public meeting, I would urge you to vote no. Do not vote on this bill until you watch those meetings and until you listen to the information in the podcast I'm sending you. It's imperative that you understand. You guys have a hell of a tough job. listening to all this and everybody, your job isn't easy. But you have to be informed on all these points. Thank you very much.